Hi, welcome to my presentation. My name is Jodi with JEMCoaching. In my work as a life transition coach, educator, and healthy lifestyle motivator, I endeavor to work as a guide on the side to help you thrive and help people thrive in their lives and live their lives to their fullest. Today in my presentation, I'm going to be focusing on a term called resilience, and in this case, resilience when facing the unexpected. We are today living globally, all of us, living through COVID-19, and it is a life challenge, and where we're all facing having to self-isolate, having to maybe stop work altogether, or maybe working remotely, or maybe having to put ourselves, as a number of our frontline workers are, putting ourselves in a situation where we maybe are feeling anxious and uncertain about our own health and our own well-being in the work that we're doing. So I'm in this presentation, and it's the first of a two-part presentation. I'm going to be focusing on what do we mean by the term resilience. I'm going to be asking you to think back on times in your life when you faced adversity. What are some of the things that you've got in your toolkit? What are some things that have helped you get through times in your life where you faced adversity or life challenge? As we are today, I don't know that any of us have really had to face anything like COVID-19, but there have been times, all of us, that have had to face some kind of life challenge. And secondly, I'm going to be sharing with you 3 tactics that I've researched and that I use in my life to help build my toolkit, my resilience toolkit, and to strengthen my resiliency and my resolve. I'm going to be also in part 2 of the resilience when facing the unexpected. I'm going to be sharing with you some steps that you can take to create your own COVID-19 Resilience Vision Board. So just thinking through, okay, if this is going to go until the end of June, or if it's going to go till the end of September, what are some things, what could that look like? And what are some things that you would like to build into that time, thinking about your time and how you want to use it so that it is meaningful for you. So let's get started into part 1. I'm going to now take a moment to share with you my PowerPoint presentation. As I'm doing that, I want you to think back and think about a time in your life where you have faced adversity. What are some things that you've done in order to strengthen and to get through that time in your life? So just take a moment to ponder that and to think about that as I pull up my presentation. So I hope you've had a chance to think about a time in your life where you faced a life adversity or a life challenge. What were some of the things that you did? Did you find that at that time the waves came crashing down? Just suddenly the water was calm, everything was fine, and then all of a sudden this huge big wave came up and came crashing down on you, and your life changed in a split second. It could have been maybe a change in your job, or a change in a relationship, or it could have been a motor vehicle accident. Whatever it could be, there's a number of things that could have happened in your life. If you are alive, more than likely you've had to deal with some kind of life challenge in your life. Together globally, as I mentioned earlier, we are facing adversity with COVID-19. This is a virus that does not discriminate, but can be fatal, in particular for those with respiratory challenges and our more vulnerable population. We are being challenged collectively to work together, isolate ourselves, and to protect the vulnerable and ourselves. I have studied resilience to understand its power and its influence in embracing adversity, turbulent times, and curveballs that happen in our lives. As I mentioned in my quest, I'm in quest to inspire people to live life to the fullest and to thrive. See the glass half full instead of half empty. See people and see yourself as a valuable, amazing individual who make this world a better place just by being you and just by being yourself. This includes seizing opportunities that present themselves in life, like a life challenge. In particular, I think life challenges really help us and encourage us and force us to look in the mirror and dig deep and think about who is it that we really are? What are the things that we really value in life? And what are some of the things that are important in life? And I think COVID-19 is doing that for all of us, really making us hit the pause button and really think through what is important in our lives. You'll notice in this picture, this is at a place that's one of my most favorite places in the world, Doubtful Sound, New Zealand. And at the beginning of the day, when my husband and I were on a trip and we were touring the Doubtful Sound, the beginning of the day was, you can see I had a raincoat on. It was rainy. It was kind of dreary. And we're thinking, oh boy, should we do this? And the day turned out to be just spectacular. Because of the rain, we had amazing waterfalls and just a lot of beauty that we could just take in, and we were just in awe of. And at the end of the day and during our tour, there was a rainbow. So for me, I thought this was a metaphor of just thinking about, we may find ourselves in adversity, think in ourselves in a life challenge, but through that, there is some joy, there is some beauty. And so we just sort of take a look at, just make us stop and pause and take a look at the beauty that are around us, and maybe take a look at what are some of the opportunities that it presents itself. In my presentation today, I want to first of all get you thinking about what are some of your stories, what are some of the things that have got you to the point that you are in your life journey right now. Have there been some challenges, and what are some of the things that have got you through those? I'm going to define what we mean by the term resilience. I'm going to, for you, just share a bit of an experience that I have had just more recently with COVID-19 and some of the aha moments as a result of that experience. And then, as I mentioned earlier, the 3 tactics to increase resilience, I'll share those with you as well. So again, I'm asking you just to think back to a time where, you had to overcome a life challenge. What did you do to help cope? For example, did you go for a walk? Did you listen to a particular song or music? Have a massage? Have a hot bubble bath? Go talk to a friend? What are some of the things that you've done in the past? What I'd like you to do is think through those, and were some of those situations, like going for a walk, more around a physical strategy, or maybe it's yoga, or was it more of a social strategy? So working through a problem or a situation by talking to somebody else, or maybe joining some kind of a support group around what that area might have been. Or was the strategy more of something that from a spiritual nature, or just life meaning, just something that you did to help to really take a look at, well, what are the things that you really value and what's really important to you? Or perhaps the strategy was more around an emotional strategy. So it's just some things to, like meditation, just taking some time out and just enjoying, just taking a moment and stop and really think through what's really important to you. So when we think about the term resilience, it's the process of adapting well in the face of adversity, trauma, tragedy, threats, or even any significant sources of stress. As you can see from this photo, out of adversity, even the hardest adversity, there can be some beauty and some growth. And I'm hoping for you, it'll be personal growth during this time that we find ourselves in. As I mentioned, we've had a life experience just recently. My husband and I just came back from an overseas trip, and we had to go into 14-day self-isolation as a result of COVID-19. So I was thinking to myself, what can we do with our time during that time? And thought, well, maybe we could do a puzzle. So we got a puzzle, and I haven't really done a lot of puzzles, so I just kind of threw out there and said 1,000-piece puzzle. So our niece picked one up for us and left it at our front doorstep. And so then we endeavored to work through this puzzle. So as you can see, there are a number of pieces. It was a 1,000-piece puzzle. And at first I thought, oh, we'll get this done probably in 2 or 3 days. It took us 4 weeks to complete this puzzle. But I think the puzzle, again, is just sort of a representation of what it is that we're facing right now with COVID-19. And numerous puzzle pieces similar to COVID-19. There are a lot of different puzzle pieces that are at work all at the same time around COVID-19. And each one of them, and we don't really know, it's sort of the fear of the unknown of when it can be done. Can we get through it? We didn't know whether we could get through this puzzle or not. And how do all the pieces fit together? And it seems to me that some of these puzzle pieces are shifting. One day we're told to wear a mask. The next day we're told, no, you don't need to wear a mask, or whatever. There are a number of things that it leaves us it's very confusing, as it was doing this puzzle. So we did have some puzzle resilience aha moments. First of all, it taught us patience, just to be patient. We can't look at the big picture all at once. It is good to sort of have a sense of what the big picture is, but just be patient and let it happen, and recognize it's maybe not, the change is not going to happen overnight. And in this case, we weren't going to get the puzzle done overnight. And in our case with COVID-19, we're not going to be able to solve COVID-19 overnight either. break it down into smaller chunks. So we broke down the puzzle pieces into smaller chunks, or the areas, to just sort of work at it bit by bit. And you may need to chunk up your days as you're getting through your self-isolation, or just maybe break down and chunk some of the things and some of the projects or things that you'd like to focus on during this time. Setting a goal, it might have been, and it can be as simple as, in this case with the puzzle, 3 pieces a day. Your goal might be just to get out for a walk each day. A goal might be to just pick up the phone and phone a friend maybe once a week. It can be something, doesn't have to be a really lofty goal, but just setting a goal and sticking to it by day. So just being sure you maybe building in some kind of some day structure as well to your day, and sticking to it day by day. Being an active participant, don't just sit back and hope that somebody's going to do it all for you and that somebody's going to make decisions for you. Be sure that you're an active participant in your life and what it is that you're wanting to do during this time. And be supportive of one another. Reach out and help one another. And I think that, again, globally, in our own small communities, in our own homes, with our own families, we really need to be supportive of one another during this time. And it really does help to build our resilience and increase our resilience strength. And then as well, celebrate our successes. So we did celebrate completing our puzzle. And I think we need to celebrate the small things that we do. If we have small goals, just celebrate those along the way as we do. As I mentioned, in my research around resilience, and some of the things that I'm doing in my own life are 3 tactics to increase resilience that Dr. Lucy Hone, the director of the New Zealand Institute of Wellbeing and Resilience, has researched, and then she also has used in her own life. She herself personally was researching this area as the director of Wellbeing and Resilience, but then she found herself in a time in her life where she had a big life challenge when she lost her daughter in a car accident. So during that time, she decided to use her 3 tactics that she had been researching and have been encouraging others to do, and found it very beneficial. I too have found these 3 tactics very beneficial in using and helping strengthen my resilience toolkit. The first one is, resilient people get that shit happens. And I thought this was very timely, and given that there's only so much toilet paper around, and that was one of the very first things that sold out in our stores during this time. But overall, resilient people understand, and again, do see that bigger picture, and know that deep in their heart of hearts, they know they will be able to get through this. It's not going to, that the COVID-19 or whatever the life challenge is that's facing them is not going to be the driver of them. They remain and get back into the driver's seat of their life and making their own life decisions, and not let the life challenge take over, which it can very easily happen. And we may find in some days or parts of the day or some weeks where it does get to take over. But resilient people can work through that and find ways to dig deep and get through. Knowing that suffering is really a part of life and recognizing that it's a part of life helps us to know that, okay, this is something that we may have to face, but it is something that we can also get through. Once we believe that it happens, we can look more optimistically. So looking at the glass half full at the situation, roll with it, as with the toilet paper, and not let it define you or be the driver. The second tactic that Lucy speaks about, and that I've used as well, are people are really good at where they select their attention. Biologically, people in our early days, when we were in survival mode, if we got up in the morning, came out of our cave, and if we saw a saber-toothed tiger on one side and a rainbow on the other side, we're going to direct our attention at that saber-toothed tiger. We have to, for our own personal survival. And today, if we move forward to the times that we're living in now, we may not be living in a cave or have saber-toothed tigers, but we are bombarded daily with a lot of negativity and a lot of negative news. If we were to listen to the news and listen to the TV all day long about COVID-19, it can wear you down, and it can also be be very overwhelming. In many cases, all that negativity is too much for our brains to take. It puts us in overload, and it makes it very difficult to really take a look at maybe some more positive things that are happening in our lives. So we're really good at selecting our attention on one thing. So we need to be a little bit more intentional about how we select our attention. So by turning off the TV might be one strategy, and really taking a look at, well, what are the things that really do give me energy in my life? And that may be going out for a walk. It may be picking up the phone and talking to someone else, but focusing on those things. First of all, pausing, thinking about what are those things that give me energy, and then be intentional in building them into your life so that your attention is more built on positive things, things that bring you joy in your life is really important to do. Resilient, and the third thing, and this is something that has really been a game changer for me in my life. It helps me to sort of think through, okay, what are the things that I'm doing in my life? What is it that I'm about to do, the activity or the action that I'm going to take, and think through and ask myself a question. Is what I'm about to do, is it going to help me or is it going to harm me? And it is a really good, just a quick and dirty way, an easy way of checking in with yourself. Are the actions that I'm taking things that are really helping me work towards what's important to me in my life, what my values are, what my goals are those things, and it may be just small little baby steps of things that you're doing, but it's really thinking through, is this helping me or is this harming me? So they have sort of a decision, as in the picture. We can go one way or you can go the other way, and it may mean that you're having to dig in, being a little bit more mindful of the actions that you're taking and digging in and having a little bit more grit as well. So when you think about adding in all of those things, building in more joy in your life, finding things that give you energy in your life, utilizing the 3 tactics around resilience, it's going to help you move forward and live life daily with joy. As I mentioned, I am a life transition coach. This is my contact information. You can reach me and email me if you want further information or would be interested in further coaching around resilience or any other area to help strengthen your toolkit and your life toolkit. Email me at Jodi, JEMCoaching.ca. So this is the end of part 1. There is a second part where I will be working with you to work through your own resilience vision board. Thank you very much. Bye for now.